Hi guys and gals, welcome to Gearheadgirl Garage, where today we are showing you how to prep your GTR for a big brake kit. So we've gone ahead and removed our caliper and rotor. If you didn't see that and need to watch it, please click the link above and we'll go ahead and get started. So you want to make sure that these surfaces, if there's any rust or anything, you want to clean it off so you have a nice good contact. So we're just going to clean all around here with these and making sure that we don't mess up any of the threads on here. So once we've cleaned up the hub, we're going to go ahead and gently clean up the alloy mounting where we're going to mount our bracket right here. So the two holes here for our new bracket. So we'll go ahead and get started. So when you're doing this, I highly recommend wearing eye protection. Don't do what I'm doing. So now we'll gently go over the alloy here for the bracket. As you can see, it's nice and clean and shiny. Very shiny. Sweet. So now that that's done, we can go ahead and mount everything up for mock-up and adjust any brackets and stuff that need to be adjusted. Alright, so we've got our brackets, we've looked at our handy dandy orientation card, and we know it goes like this. Oh, we might have a little problem. We'll check it. So we've got this little nub right here. And we're making contact with it. We'll try the bolts real quick. We'll go ahead and test fit that. We've got this little nub up here and it sits on. Alright, so even though this was a specifically made kit, we do have a bit of a clearance issue. You can see this little nub right here is hitting our bracket. These are things you want to check for before you bolt them in. And you can kind of see the light where that gap is coming through. So we're going to have to grind down this a little bit. And hopefully you won't have to do that with yours, but be aware that if you're mounting this up, you don't want that kind of a gap. So we'll fix it. Before we do this and before you go grind away on your car, it is important to note that this is a non-structural piece. It's just the back where the line goes into, so we are going to grind it down a little bit to clearance it to get that nice, safe, snug fit. Alright guys and gals, so if you do have to grind down this little nub here, you want to be super careful. This is alloy, it's very soft. You don't want to nick the mating surfaces here. That would be very bad, so we're not going to do that. So, safety first. This time, we've got really dirty eye pro, but eye pro and ear pro. Ugh. Cool. Alright, so we'll go ahead and test fit that and see if we've got enough clearance. Alright, so now when we mount our bracket nice and flush, you can see it is actually nice and flush and not being pressed on that little nub that we had to grind down. So just note that you might have to do that on yours to gain clearance for your bracket, but no big deal, all good. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and test fit everything first, since you will have to make some modifications, minor adjustments and stuff to the brackets and whatnot. So these are going to be 19mm bolts. So you're going to use your 19mm, tighten the two bolts there. And then your bracket's all good, and you can mount our rotor and caliper. So we're going to go ahead, before we mount our rotor, we're going to clean it off with some brake clean. We're actually using brake clean for brakes. So we're going to install our brand new awesome XYZ 330mm rotor. So, I'm sure you all know about oil in your hands and the rotors and whatnot, but these are actually zinc coated, which is really awesome, which means that they're not going to rust while they're in storage, and you can put fingerprints on it and it's okay. So, we will go ahead to mount there.
You're just mocking it all together, Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm still not sure about taking all those spring-loaded things off, but you say they've got to be taken off, so they've got to be taken off. Did you find it in the book somewhere, did you?
Alright, so you just want to go ahead and make sure that it's nice and flush. Alright, so we've gone ahead and mounted this on, and what you want to do now is check your caliper clearance. And if need be, you can apply these handy dandy shims included in the kit for your caliper. So here's our awesome ginormous 6-pot XYZ front caliper. A lot lighter than the wheel, it's pretty cool. And we've got our bolts, which are going to go in there and down here. So we're just going to go ahead and mount it up and see if we need to utilize any of these shims. And we'll just tighten those down. So our two caliper bolts are nice and tight, and now our caliper is mounted on our nice new rotor. Alright, so once you have your caliper mounted, you're going to use calipers to check the distance on either side. Alright, so you can see we installed it with this bolt and this bolt. Now we're just going to check the distances between here, 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 and here to make sure that our rotor is indeed centered within the caliper. So we're going to take our calipers to measure our caliper distance. Alright, so it's got this handy dandy super shiny installation guide. And here we have, you want your tolerance on your calipers to be within 1/2 mil. So if they're not all within 1/2 mil, that's when you need to bust out those shims. So we measured, and each of these shims is 1/2 mil. And in our particular case, we need 2 shims doubled up to make 1 mil. We can test that out and see if that gets us within tolerance. Alright, so we've got our 2 1/2 mil, which makes 1 mil shims, and we're just going to take these 2 bolts off and stick those shims in between the backside and the bracket. Alright, so we've got our 2 shims, and we just need to take off the bracket there and shim the bracket. And so we've got the 2 shims there for 1 mil and the 2 shims down there. So we'll just reinstall our bracket and then check our tolerances. Alright, there's our bracket. We'll go ahead and put our caliper back on. Alright, so once everything's mounted, you're going to check the gap here, here, and here, and here with your calipers. Alright, so we're within a half a mil on all 4 measurements there. So we are good to go. Alright, so now we've got everything, our distances measured, and everything's all good. So you're going to want to install your nice new brake line from this bracket up here. So included in the kit are these 2 brackets here, and they do take a little bit of finagling, so you're going to want, the yellow one is your slider bracket, and this one secures it from the caliper. It's not slit. And we'll go ahead. So you can see where your new line attaches back there, and then your components up here, which they do come flat, so you are going to have to finagle those a little bit to suit. So your brake line is going to mount to the banjo bolt here. Oh, is that the copper washer thing on it? So you got your bolt here with the washers. So you're mounting your banjo bolt there, you've got your washer there, and put the other washer on there, and okay, and we'll get that threaded. So it's loosely mounted there, and then we've got our brackets up here. So there's this one, so the black one that's not a slipper is going to mount right here where we ground off that little piece. So this bolt is going to go right, and it's hard to see, right in there. And then over on this side you've got your yellow slider slipper one, and it's going to go here. You can notice it's quite a big hole, so we did have to put a washer on there to fix that. We've got that bolt with the washer we talked about, and then our other bolt. These are both 12 mils. So we got a 12 mil socket. So that finger tightened there, and that is this one. Alright, so we're basically just mocking this all up right now. If you were installing this permanently, you would want to refer to all the torque specs specified in the installation manual. So you got that one. This yellow one again is your slipper, and the black one holds it. Once you've installed all this, you want to make sure that you turn your wheel through the full range of motion to assure that your line's clear, they're not getting caught in anything, and there's nothing that you need to adjust. Cool. Alright, so we're good. Since we are going ahead and doing the entire brake system and the lines, we're going to be torquing everything to spec later on. But this is how you install your nice 330mm floating XYZ rotor and caliper setup here. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please click that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for future content. Catch you next time.